राधा स्वामी बाबा जी,
राजस्वामी जी,
ਜੇ ਕੋਈ ਬਿਨਾਂ ਨਾਮ ਦੀ ਦਾਤ ਲੈਤੇ ਹੋਏ ਛੋਟੀ ਉਮਰ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਸੰਤਮਤ ਨੂੰ ਮੰਨਦੇ ਹੋਏ ਇਸ ਦੁਨੀਆ ਤੋਂ ਅੱਗੇ ਹੋ ਜਾਏ ਤੇ ਕਿਆ ਉਹਦੀ ਅਗਲੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਪ੍ਰੀਜ਼ਿਊਮ ਕਰੀਏ ਕਿ ਅਗਲੇ 1-2 ਜਨਮਾਂ ਵਿੱਚ ਜਾਂ ਐਸੇ ਜਨਮ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਬਾਬਾ ਜੀ ਆਪਣੇ ਕੋਲ ਬੁਲਾ ਲੈਣਗੇ?
ਬੇਟਾ ਸਿਰਫ ਨਾਮ ਲੈਣ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੁੰਦਾ, ਰਿਸ਼ਤਾ ਜੋੜਨ ਦੀ ਗੱਲ ਹੈ। ਰਿਸ਼ਤਾ ਤਾਂ ਜਦੋਂ ਤੋਂ ਆਪਾਂ ਮਾਲਿਕ ਵਿੱਚ ਵਿਸ਼ਵਾਸ ਰੱਖਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਉਦੋਂ ਤੋਂ ਜੁੜ ਜਾਂਦਾ ਹੈਗਾ। ਫਿਰ ਦੂਜੀ ਚੀਜ਼ ਹੈਗੀ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਸਾਡਾ ਦੁਨੀਆ ਵਿੱਚ ਕਿੰਨਾ ਕਿੰਨਾ ਚੀਜ਼ਾਂ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਲਗਾਵ ਹੈਗਾ। ਜੇ ਛੋਟੀ ਉਮਰ 'ਚ ਕੀ ਲਗਾਵ ਹੋਊਗਾ ਵਿਚਾਰੇ ਦਾ। ਸੋ ਇਸ ਕਰਕੇ ਬੇਟਾ ਇਹ ਤਾਂ ਮਾਲਿਕ ਦੀ ਬਖਸ਼ਿਸ਼ ਹੈਗੀ ਹੈ। ਸੋ ਆਪਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਚੀਜ਼ਾਂ ਵਿੱਚ ਜ਼ਿਆਦਾ ਵਿਚਾਰ ਨਹੀਂ ਕਰਨਾ ਚਾਹੀਦਾ। ਤੁਸੀਂ 2-3 ਉਮਰਾਂ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਹੋ, ਮੈਂ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਹੋ ਕਿ ਆਪਾਂ ਦੂਜੀ ਉਮਰ ਦੀ ਵੀ ਕਿਉਂ ਗੱਲ ਕਰਦੇ ਹਾਂ। ਸੋ ਜੇ ਕਰਮ ਚੰਗੇ ਹੈਗੇ ਹੈ, ਕਿਸੇ ਚੀਜ਼ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਲਗਾਵ ਨਹੀਂਗਾ ਔਰ ਅਸੀਂ ਵਿਸ਼ਵਾਸ ਰੱਖਿਆ ਹੈ, ਮਾਲਿਕ ਆਪਣੇ ਆਪ ਮਾਲਿਕ ਦੇ ਉੱਤੇ ਛੱਡੋ, ਬਖਸ਼ਿਸ਼ ਕਰੂ।
ਰਾਜ स्वामी बाबा जी।
Radha Swami Babaji. Babaji, I want to ask, when we do bhajan and simran, and there is a specific time when our maybe you say a mind or our inclination goes to that specific time of, I won't say day or maybe the night, is it also a relationship of the path for the past? Maybe I was in the past life I was doing the bhajan and simran at night only. Whenever I sit, it tells me that this is my time. The silence is there. There is nobody.
I don't think so. We should get into the parameters of time. We are trying to get out of the parameters of time. Time is calm.
Okay.
Okay. So now this is the Lord's creation.
Yeah.
You can't say a specific time is good and a other time is bad. Whatever He has created good. Now it's a question of our focus. There are times in the day where we are more focused, and there are times when we are not at focus. So that's something very personal. It's got nothing to do with a particular time being better as against the other part of the day.
Okay.
So whenever you can sit down, whenever you think you can focus better, that's personal to you.
Okay.
The idea is to create that focus and sit down.
Ji. And Babaji, dhun, we can sit on a dhun any time of the day. If like I've done my bhajan and simran, and if I listen and I want to listen more, so can I sit any time whenever I'm free, maybe
Yes,
during lunchtime?
any time of the day, the more you listen to the dhun, the better it is.
Okay.
I mean, we should be able to listen to the dhun 24 hours of the day.
Okay.
That's the atmosphere we are trying to create. That
Ji.
no matter what we do, that dhun in the background is there in our mind. That's the atmosphere we have to create.
Okay. Thank you, Babaji. Radha Swami.
राज स्वामी बाबा जी, मेरा पहली बार है कि मैं आपके सामने क्वेश्चन कर रहा हूँ। मुझे सिर्फ आपसे जानना है, मैंने काफ़ी पढ़ा है, बट आपसे मुझे जानना है कि विनम्र होने के लिए और क्या करना चाहिए।
बेटा देखो, इस वक्त ना हमारा दायरा बहुत छोटा है
जी।
और छोटे से दायरे में हम अपने आप को बड़ा अहम मान के बैठ जाते हैं।
जी।
अब एक छोटा सा परिवार ले लें। अब ठीक है, परिवार में आपका वजूद है, आपकी एक औकात है, मगर वही आप दायरा थोड़ा सा खोल लें, आप अपना शहर को देख लें, तो आप जैसे तो और कितने होंगे।
जी।
तो जैसे जैसे दायरा खुलता जाएगा तो इंसान को एहसास होगा कि मैं तो कुछ भी नहीं।
जी जी।
सो इसलिए दायरे खोलने की बात है बेटा। और जैसे जैसे भजन सिमरन करते हैं, जागृता आती है, दायरा खुलता है, तब इंसान को एहसास होता है कि मैं तो कुछ भी नहीं। इस वक्त सत्संग सुनते हैं, ग्रंथ पोथियां पढ़ते हैं, वहां निम्रता की बात की जाती है, हम सोचते हैं कि भाई ये अवस्था हमें भी चाहिए।
जी।
मगर ये सिखाई नहीं जा सकती, ना कोई सीख सकता है। जब तक आप अंदर से आपको एहसास नहीं होगा कि मैं कुछ नहीं हूं, और वो तभी होगा जब दायरा खुलेगा।
जी।
राज स्वामी बाबा जी। बाबा जी, हम हमेशा चाहते हैं कि सही चीज़ करें और सही गलत की पहचान करना कई बार बड़ा मुश्किल हो जाता है। लेकिन एक और सवाल आता है कई बार कि सही के लिए हम कभी करते करते ऐसा लगता है कि हम एक लड़ाई लड़ रहे हैं उस सही के लिए और हर कोई उसके खिलाफ है। तो कब ये हमें पता चलता है कि ये हमारा ईगो बन गया है, हम अपने ईगो के लिए लड़ रहे हैं या उस सही के लिए या सही चीज़ के लिए लड़ रहे हैं? तो वो कैसे पता चलेगा?
बेटा देखो, एक तरफ तो हम सोचते हैं कि मैंने अपनी अलग से हस्ती बनानी है, मैंने अपना अलग से वजूद बनाना है, और दूसरी तरफ इंसान भेड़ चाल में पड़ जाता है। अब ये नहीं है कि हमें मालूम नहीं कि सच क्या है, झूठ क्या है, गलत क्या है, सही क्या है, हमें सभी को मालूम है। मगर हम एक जस्टिफिकेशन सी ले लेते हैं, मजबूरी कह लो, जिम्मेवारियां कह लो, तो उसके कारण एक हम जस्टिफिकेशन सी ले लेते हैं। मगर अंत में तो कर्मों का हिसाब किताब है ना, तो कर्म तो बनेगा, आप चाहे सोच समझ के करें और चाहे बगैर सोचे समझे करें। सो इसलिए बेटा इंसान ने अपने आप को बचाना है, और जितने कम कर्म होंगे उतना बोझ कम होगा, उतना इंसान हल्का होगा, और हम ज्यादा अपने मुकाम की तरफ बढ़ सकते हैं। जितने कर्म और बढ़ेंगे, बोझ बढ़ेगा, तो इंसान तो उठा ही नहीं पाता बेटा। सो इसलिए हमें तो हर वक्त सही करना चाहिए, दूसरे चाहे करें या ना करें।
तो उस सच के लिए वो जो लड़ाई से हम लड़ने लगते हैं उसको कब छोड़ें ताकि वो हमारा ईगो ना बन जाए और हम उससे हट जाएं?
नहीं बेटा, लड़ाई तो तब होती है जब हम दूसरों को समझाना शुरू कर देते हैं, आप सही करो। हमने दूसरों का हमने हिसाब किताब नहीं उठाना, हमने सारी दुनिया का ठेका नहीं लिया, ठीक है ना। आप गलत मत करो, क्योंकि जो आप करेंगे वो आपके कर्म है, जो वो करेंगे वो उनके कर्म है। आप मत गलत करो। मगर ये कहना कि जी मैं सबसे लड़ाई करके मैं बैठ जाऊं, तो मेरे को सियाना कौन कहेगा बेटा।
थैंक यू बाबा जी। राधा स्वामी।
राधा स्वामी बाबा जी ਹੁਣ ਨਾ ਮੈਂ ਨਾਮਦਾਨ ਲਿਆ ਹੋਇਆ, ਜਦ ਮੇਰਾ ਘਰ ਵਾਲਾ ਬਿਮਾਰ ਇੰਨਾ ਹੋ ਜਾਂਦਾ, ਪੰਡਤ ਕਹਿ ਦੂਗਾ ਜੀ ਹਵਨ ਕਰਾਓ, ਸਾਨੂੰ ਕਰਾਉਣੀ ਚਾਹੀਦੀ ਹੈ। ਮੇਰਾ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਤੇ ਪ੍ਰੇਮ ਭਰੋਸਾ ਵਿਸ਼ਵਾਸ ਹੈ ਬਾਬਾ ਜੀ, ਮੈਂ ਕੀ ਕਰਾਂ।
ਨਹੀਂ ਬੇਟਾ ਦੇਖੋ, ਇਹ ਜਿਹੜੀਆਂ ਸਾਰੀਆਂ ਚੀਜ਼ਾਂ ਹੈ ਨਾ, ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦਾ ਕੋਈ ਮਕਸਦ ਸੀਗਾ ਬੇਟਾ।
ਹਾਂਜੀ
ਪੁਰਾਣੇ ਜ਼ਮਾਨੇ 'ਚ ਜਦੋਂ ਇਹ ਹਵਨ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਸੀਗੇ ਨਾ,
ਜੀ
ਉਦੋਂ ਇੱਕ ਮਕਸਦ ਸੀਗਾ। ਹੁਣ ਉਹ ਮਕਸਦ ਨਹੀਂ ਰਿਹਾ।
ਜੀ
ਹਵਨ ਕਰਾਉਣਾ ਕੋਈ ਬੁਰੀ ਗੱਲ ਨਹੀਂ ਗੀ, ਮਗਰ ਮਕਸਦ ਕੀ ਹੈ? ਮਕਸਦ ਤਾਂ ਉਹੀ ਹੈ ਨਾ ਕਿ ਆਪਾਂ ਮਾਲਿਕ ਨੂੰ ਯਾਦ ਕਰਨਾ ਹੈ, ਔਰ ਉਹਦੀ ਹਾਜ਼ਰੀ ਵਿੱਚ ਸਾਡਾ ਮਨ ਹੋਣਾ ਚਾਹੀਦਾ ਹੈਗਾ।
ਜੀ
ਹੁਣ ਜੇ ਆਪਾਂ ਉਹ ਭਜਨ ਸਿਮਰਨ ਦੇ ਜ਼ਰੀਏ ਕਰ ਸਕਦੇ ਹਾਂ, ਕੋਈ ਜ਼ਰੂਰੀ ਤਾਂ ਨਹੀਂ ਕਿ ਧਰਮ ਸਥਾਨ ਤੇ ਜਾ ਕੇ ਉੱਥੇ ਹੀ ਯਾਦ ਹੋਊਗਾ ਮਾਲਿਕ ਬੇਟਾ।
ਹਾਂਜੀ ਨਾ, ਉਹ ਤਾਂ ਇੰਡੀਆ 'ਚ ਬਾਬਾ ਜੀ, ਉਹ ਕਹਿ ਦੂਗਾ ਇੰਨੇ ਪੈਸੇ ਭੇਜ ਦਿਓ, ਮੈਂ ਇੰਨੇ ਹਵਨ ਕਰਾਉਣੇ ਨੇ, ਇੰਨੇ ਹਰ ਇੱਕ ਸਾਲ।
ਨਹੀਂ ਬੇਟਾ, ਤੁਸੀਂ ਕਾਹਨੂੰ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਚੀਜ਼ਾਂ 'ਚ ਪਏ ਹੋਏ ਹੋ? ਮਾਲਿਕ ਦੀ ਭਗਤੀ ਕਿਤੇ ਵੀ ਕਰ ਸਕਦੇ ਹੋ, ਔਰ ਖੁਦ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਰਿਸ਼ਤਾ ਜੋੜੋ। ਆਪਾਂ ਦੂਸਰੇ ਦੇ ਜ਼ਰੀਏ ਨਹੀਂ ਰਿਸ਼ਤਾ ਜੋੜਨਾ।
ਬਾਬਾ ਜੀ ਇਹ ਨਹੀਂ ਨਾ ਆਉਂਦੇ। ਹੁਣ ਕੋਲਾਲੰਪਰ ਵੀ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਦ੍ਰਿਸ਼ਟੀ ਪਾਈ ਸੀ, 27 ਸਾਲ ਦਾ ਦੁੱਖ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਤੋੜਿਆ, ਜੋ ਚੀਜ਼ ਇਹਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਸੀ। ਹੁਣ ਹਰ ਇੱਕ ਸਾਲ ਫੇਰ ਐਸੇ ਹੋ ਜਾਂਦੇ ਨੇ, ਉਹਦੇ ਐਸੀ ਹਾਲਤ ਹੋ ਜਾਂਦੀ ਹੈ ਬਾਬਾ, ਸਾਥੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਦੇਖੀ ਜਾਂਦੀ।
ਕਰਮਾਂ ਦਾ ਹਿਸਾਬ ਕਿਤਾਬ ਬੇਟਾ, ਕਰਮ ਆਪੋ ਆਪਣੀ ਕੇ ਨੇੜੇ ਕੇ ਦੂਰ, ਕਰਮਾਂ ਦਾ ਹਿਸਾਬ ਕਿਤਾਬ ਹਰੇਕ ਨੇ ਦੇਣਾ ਹੀ ਦੇਣਾ ਹੈ ਬੇਟਾ। ਕੋਈ ਪੰਡਿਤ ਕੋਈ ਹੋਰ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਕਰਮ ਨਹੀਂ ਲੈ ਸਕਦਾ। ਕਿਸੇ ਗਲਤਫਹਿਮੀ 'ਚ ਨਾ ਰਹੋ ਤੁਸੀਂ।
ਹਾਂਜੀ
ਸੋ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਜੇ ਸੋਚਦੇ ਹੋ ਨਾ ਕਿ ਮੈਂ ਆਹ ਕਰਾ ਕੇ ਤਾਂ ਕਰਮ ਮੇਰੇ ਖਤਮ ਹੋ ਜਾਣਗੇ, ਨਹੀਂ ਹੋਣਗੇ ਬੇਟਾ,
ਹਾਂਜੀ
ਨਹੀਂ ਹੋਣਗੇ। ਸੋ ਬਿਹਤਰ ਇਹੀ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਆਪਾਂ ਆਪਣੇ ਆਪ ਨੂੰ ਆਪਣੀ ਭਜਨ ਬੰਦਗੀ ਕਰਕੇ ਆਪਣੇ ਆਪ ਨੂੰ ਇੰਨਾ ਤਾਕਤਵਰ ਬਣਾਈਏ ਕਿ ਆਪਾਂ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦਾ ਸਾਹਮਣਾ ਕਰ ਸਕੀਏ। ਮਗਰ ਜੇ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਕੋਈ ਇਹ ਦੱਸਦਾ ਨਾ ਕਿ ਉਹ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਕਰਮ ਹਲਕੇ ਕਰ ਸਕਦਾ ਹੈ, ਉਹ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਫਿਰ ਤੁਹਾਡਾ ਮਜ਼ਾਕ ਉਡਾ ਰਿਹਾ।
ਹਾਂਜੀ ਕਿੱਥੋਂ ਇੰਨੇ ਬਾਬਾ ਜੀ, ਹਰ ਇੱਕ ਵਾਰ ਕਹਿ ਦੂਗਾ ਇੰਨੇ ਪੈਸੇ ਦੇ ਦਿਓ ਤਾਂ ਇਹਦਾ ਇਲਾਜ ਹੋਊਗਾ, 1 ਸਾਲ ਦਾ ਇਹਦਾ ਟੈਂਪਰੇਰੀ ਇਲਾਜ ਹੋ ਜਾਂਦਾ। ਫਿਰ ਕਹਿ ਦਿੰਦਾ ਕਿੱਥੋਂ ਬਾਬਾ ਜੀ ਇੰਨਾ, ਮੈਂ ਕਿੱਥੇ, ਮੈਂ ਇੱਕ ਰਸਤੇ 'ਚ ਜਾ ਸਕਦੀ, ਮੈਂ 2 ਬੇੜੀਆਂ 'ਚ ਪੈਰ ਨਹੀਂ ਰੱਖ ਸਕਦੀ ਬਾਬਾ ਜੀ।
ਬੇਟਾ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਡਾਕਟਰ ਕੋਲੇ ਜਾਓ, ਜਿਵੇਂ ਡਾਕਟਰ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਦਵਾਈ ਦਿਓ।
ਬਾਬਾ ਜੀ ਡਾਕਟਰ ਦੀ ਦਵਾਈ ਵੀ ਚੱਲਦੀ ਹੈ, ਐਸੀ ਹਾਲਤ ਉਹਦੀ ਹੋ ਜਾਂਦੀ ਹੈ,
ਡਾਕਟਰ ਦੀ
ਉਹ
ਦਵਾਈ
ਨਹੀਂ।
ਲਓ, ਆਪਣੀ ਭਜਨ ਬੰਦਗੀ ਕਰੋ।
ਠੀਕ ਆ ਬਾਬਾ ਜੀ।
Rasumi Babaji, thank you for being there with us physically and spiritually, keeping us safe. My question is that between the Lord and the Guru, there is no difference. But it is said, saints say that Guru's status is somehow higher in the sense that Lord has sent us here, but the Guru and the Lord has brought us in touch with the Guru. But Guru shows us the path, gives us the technique to go back and unite with the Lord. Could you please explain?
Beta, in Christianity, they have this concept of the Trinity: Father, Son, and Holy Ghost. Okay? Now, actually, all three are one. There's no difference. Now, the concept is Father is the Lord, Son was Christ, and the Holy Ghost is the Shabad. So everything is the Shabad. The Shabad is there in each one of us. So we are prospective gurus. So, this distinction we draw, beta. Always remember, beta, the human body is subject to time. Okay? The human body will change with time. We are searching for the truth. Truth is eternal. That which is eternal will not change. Anything that changes is part of time, is part of Maya. I, Jai, so Maya. That which comes and goes is part of Maya, is part of the materialistic nature of this creation. So the body, does it change or not?
Yeah.
My hair, which was black, has become white or no? So anything that changes is part of Maya, part of materialism. We want to go beyond that. So Guru is the guide. He is the mentor who teaches you, beta.
Yeah.
Nobody can put knowledge into you. Knowledge is there. When you go to school, they use different tools to sharpen your intellect to bring forward that knowledge. It's not that people are putting knowledge into you.
Yeah.
The different subjects are taught to us to sharpen our intellect, to bring forth that confidence and that awakening within us. So similarly, beta, he's like a teacher, he's a guide, he's a mentor who, through the different ways, is helping you to awaken that strength within yourself, that Shabad which is within you.
Yeah.
So the Guru is the Shabad.
Yeah.
It is not a physical being, it's the Shabad.
Yeah.
Shabad Guru Surat
Tun
Tun Chela. So Guru is the Shabad. And Shabad is the creator. Where is the Shabad? Is dehi vich naam nidhan hai paiye gur ke he tapar. That's within you.
Okay.
No?
Yes. We just have
Yeah.
to realize it.
No, beta, it's just like, sometimes when you are beholden, when somebody does a lot for you, like we'll say, our father is everything.
Yeah.
Because for us, he's our protector, he looks after us, he provides
Yeah.
everything for us.
Yes.
But as you grow older, you realize that my father is like any other human being.
Yeah.
So beta, don't mix the two, the creator and the physical. So what we are seeking is the truth, what we are seeking is the Shabad, what we are seeking is the creator.
Right. Thank you, Babaji. That's me.
Radhaswami Babaji, thank you very much for this opportunity. Babaji, the mind seems to trouble a lot, whether it's during meditation or during the rest of the day. It seems like a very potent enemy right now, and I'm just wondering if, it could be more of a good friend.
Kabir Sahib in his Bani has said, Kabir man to ek hai, pame jahan lagaye, pame gur ki bhakti kar, pame vishay kamaye. So it's not that we have two minds, there is only one mind. Hazur used to say that if you channelize the mind, it's the best friend you can have. And if the mind is not in your control, it's the worst enemy you can have. So beta, we have to see who's in charge. Do you want to be in charge all your life, or do you want others to ring the bell and you have to run? So we have to learn to control the mind, beta, to do what we think is right, rather than, be subjected to what the mind wants. And that's where our meditation comes in.
Okay, so keep at it. And I mean,
Yeah, I mean, unless the mind doesn't have that faith beta from within, it's not going to leave all these worldly pleasures. It's only when it starts tasting of that divine nectar within, only then will all these worldly things start becoming bland.
but then like meditation is also such a struggle. It's like, you advise us to enjoy meditation. It's sometimes you're like,
We make it a struggle, beta. We make it a struggle. When we are seeing a movie or we are seeing a TV show which we enjoy, is it a struggle to sit and see it?
no, not at all.
Precisely. But here, because there's a certain expectancy, because we are so used to sort of movement, we are so used to talking to each other, that's why we find it difficult to sit still and be quiet. So we become creatures of habit.
So how do you enjoy a meditation?
You just be still. Just sit down quietly and blank yourself out from everything else. Our problem is that, we've created this habit of the mind, this multitasking, doing 10 things at the same time. And then suddenly you are told, no, don't move, be quiet, sit still. So it becomes a contradiction. Huh?
Okay. And Babaji, will Simran help? I mean, because efforts at Simran and Bhajan are very poor.
No, it definitely helps. That's why we are told to start with Simran, because Simran, you are still doing something.
Okay.
Whereas in Bhajan, you're not supposed to do anything. So that's why you are told to start with Simran. So at least, you are channelizing your movement into something which is positive, which is giving you a certain direction. And eventually you will see, when you get into the habit of doing Simran, the Shabad just takes over.
Okay.
As the focus comes in, the Shabad just takes over.
Okay. And just the last question, Babaji. Sometimes, when I speak to you, it's like sometimes I forget what you say, or I don't catch it, or then I get confused.
Whatever is important to us, we can never forget. We will never forget what is important. So that's why we have to reset our priorities and see what is really important to us.
If it's spirituality, how do you motivate yourself to prioritize spirituality?
I mean, use your logic. Why would you take a job where you'll never get paid? Why would you start a business which is doomed to failure? Why would you do something which is not going to help you further? So what is it that is going to go with you? That's your spirituality. That's your bhajan bandagi. All this position, this money, these relationships, these are going to be left behind. So logically, if you see, if you have to go for a journey, you would always think that you will take what is important. You won't carry the full house with you, would you?
Okay. Thank you very much, Babaji Radhaswami.
Babaji, thank you so much. And so last October, Babaji, 2020, I came here and I have asked you that, Babaji, please initiate me. And you replied me, you applied, and I applied it. But so it's 2021, I finished my course from National Institute of Education. Now, so I bought a lot of, like all the books, spiritual perspectives, and to read, and because of this mind, I really want to get initiated, Babaji. And it's not me, Babaji, who's coming to you. I think it's you are calling me here. It's the spiritual master who calls us. So, Babaji, I'm a follower Bhagavad Gita. I'm in love with Lord Krishna. And one of my friend who is Radhaswami here, I went there, and in her book rack, there was your book on Bhagavad Gita. I'm like, wow, everything is here. So, Babaji, I really want to get initiated. Please initiate me, Babaji.
Because, sometimes we get attached to personalities without understanding what they stood for. Krishna stood for love. In every aspect of his life, there was that love. And there was that how to fulfill the responsibility that you have come with. The entire his dialogue with Arjuna on the battlefield is about Karam.
Yes.
You see, so let's not get into the personalities. Let's get into the message. I think we've created all these different religions and all just because we were personality oriented. Now, if we look at the message is the same. There is no difference.
Exactly, Babaji. But
So let's focus
I
on the
really
message.
believe in you, Babaji. Please, you initiate me, Babaji.
Whether you apply out there, and when Singapore opens up, somebody will come and do the initiation.
Thank you, Babaji. Thank you so much, Babaji. And keep blessings on us. Thank you, Babaji.
That's not me, Babaji. My question is, you have always been saying that, you sit and things will move. But at times it happens that as humans, we don't see that movement or forwardness. So it comes a doubt or a question, are we following the right thing? Is that right to have a doubt, or, just do it?
But initially, definitely, we will need to have a little bit of faith to continue doing what we are supposed to do. But once you cross that initial barrier, then, experience will give you everything. But initially, yes, it's like groping in the darkness. I agree with you. Day in, day out, you're just sitting in the darkness and repeating something without knowing where you are. But that's what it is.
So it becomes at times a questionable thing. Am I doing the right thing, or is there a progress happening?
Do you ever question when you love your parents or you love your brothers and sisters? Do you ever question, am I loving them in the right manner?
No.
Then, beta, this is also love only, na? We are creating a relationship with the divine. Remembering the divine, wanting to stay in his will, wanting to please him like you want to please your parents. That all stems from your love for them, na?
Sure.
We don't analyze these things, do we?
No.
Here we are trying to love the Lord and trying to stay in his will, trying to create a relationship with him. You are in 24 hours of the day, you're spending how much time in fulfilling your worldly responsibilities? What about your responsibility to your Heavenly Father?
My second question is, as humans,
And you see, in worldly responsibilities, what you have to do? Try pleasing your wife. What you'll have to do? And here the Lord is saying, don't do anything. Just sit quietly. So isn't that easier than trying to please the people in the world?
No, the only thing is, when you're trying to please somebody in the world, it's a reflection or reaction that we get to know. Here, we don't get any reaction or reflection that is happening. So
you get the reaction within you. You will become more at peace with yourself.
Yeah, that is
You'll
true.
become
You get more at
content
peace
with yourself.
Yeah, so that's true. When you sit, there's more peace which comes up. My second question is, as you said, you try to please people and all. At times, you try to please people, and then there's some expectations as human we build up. When we know that that's not the right thing, why as humans we start building up expectations from others?
Because, beta, right from the beginning, we've been given a certain calculation. And our mind consciously or subconsciously puts everything into calculation. Like you said, reaction. That's also a calculation. I will do this, you expect something from the other person. Now, have we been able to fulfill other people's expectation of us?
Not always.
Can we ever fulfill everybody's expectations?
No.
Similarly, they can't fulfill our expectations better.
So, but why do
Now,
we
if I'm
build
going to build up-
expectations?
But if I'm going to build up expectations, then I'm heading for trouble, na? Because nobody can fulfill my expectations. 100%, nobody's expectations can be fulfilled. If one person wants one thing, the other person wants something else. So we have to, beta, from our point of view, fulfill our responsibility, do the right thing, and move on. But when you start expecting, then you are opening yourself up to sorrow and pain. If you don't expect anything from anybody, somebody does it, you're very happy. But if you expect and they don't do it, then you're very sad. So why expect? You do what is right, you fulfill your responsibility. If they go along, they accept it, great. Just like you have a responsibility to, we have a responsibility to our children. Is there a calculation that every time you are expecting them, that they must say, oh, thank you, or we love you, and it's so great you're doing this? It's a responsibility we are fulfilling. Huh? So here, with every karma, there's a responsibility. You get into calculation, you are just doing the debit and credit. Whereas without calculation, you fulfill your responsibility, you are finishing the karma.
Awesome.
Radhaswami Babaji, I have to say this is probably the coolest Zoom call I've ever been on. So thank you so much for this opportunity. Babaji, I want to ask about focus. So during meditation, my mind, it runs. I can focus for maybe 15, 20 minutes, and then I'll start thinking about my errands or my work, or I need to make lunch and dinner before I go to work. And so I have to keep making myself, remind myself, no, clear the mind. But it's so hard some days. And then when I'm at work, my mind is razor focused. I know exactly what to do and I can get things done. How do I find this focus in my meditation?
Beta, because the mind has started calculating, beta. Where your work is concerned, you know that if you don't put in that focus, you will not be able to get the result, you will not get promotion, you won't get your salary, people will not be pleased. So it boils down to calculation. In meditation, the results are not in front of us, and that's why we think we are not getting anywhere, and that's why the mind gets distracted. But meditation, beta, we are doing for ourselves. We are not doing for anybody else. So never bring it into calculation. Now, I agree with you. There are times, every day is not a sunny day. Sometimes it's cloudy, sometimes it's rainy. So to say that the meditative process is going to be the same every day, it's not. There will be times when it takes you a lot of effort to focus, and there are times when even without any effort, you will have focus. But that's what we need to do. That we need to be consistent in what we are doing. Whether it's raining or it's sunny or it's cloudy, we still come to office, don't we? And it's the same thing. That no matter what the circumstances, you are well, you are unwell, there are problems, everything is okay, be consistent in your meditation, beta. That will give you a certain amount of strength. It gives you a certain security in life to be able to face up to things. So when you're able to achieve that consistency, then you will see everything will fall into place.
So will it get easier with time?
It only gets easier. What can be worse than what we already are in?
Babaji, I also wanted to ask, in my work, I'm surrounded by a lot of negativity. I see a lot of negativity. I'm a reporter, so I report on a lot of negative things, whatever is happening around the world. And it seems lately everything is negative, and I don't know how to separate myself from that and stop myself from letting it weigh me down.
I was just on YouTube, I was this very famous journalist. I was reading his, he was talking, and he was saying that, yes, today's news is all about the negative aspects. Nobody likes to hear the positive. You read a newspaper, you hear the news, it's only negativity. But he said, I make an effort that in every reporting, I bring about some positive aspect of that. So you can talk about what's happening around the world, but there must be something positive also. So while you report that, but try and bring in also the positive aspect of somebody in this COVID time. Everybody's dying, but there are people helping. There are people in Bangalore. This gentleman, he sold his car, expensive SUV he had, so that he could go and buy oxygen cylinders. So while you can say that so many people have died, but you can add that little story that this gentleman sold his car so that he can go and buy oxygen cylinders. So add some positivity there. Don't just let it be only negative.
Okay, Babaji. Thank you so
Better
much.
it comes to the same thing. If you get carried away, then you're becoming part of the problem.
That's right. Thank you, Babaji.
So you can't get carried away with it.
I won't. Thank you.
That's on me, Babaji. Babaji, I have two requests. The request is to let me know when one is doing bhajan, the second, after meditating, doing bhajan, after Simran, and if for some reason one needs to get up for a few minutes and then come back, should the person sit down in meditation again in Simran and then do the bhajan, or can the person straight away go to bhajan?
See, better we should try as much as possible not to get up, and especially when you are in bhajan.
Yes.
Because what is this full concept of meditation? Through Simran, you have achieved a certain amount of concentration.
Yes.
And then you are channelizing your attention to the Shabad.
Yes.
Now the mind is so strong that even a slight movement of the body, it goes into a ripple effect and you are thousands of miles away.
Yes.
So to say that I will get up and I'll do something, or I'll talk to somebody on the phone and then come and sit and I'll have the same concentration you want.
No, the question was in an emergency, just a minute or two to move away from there. No, I understand what you said just now, but
Yeah, it's okay. Basically, if you can hear the Shabad, the more time you spend in hearing the Shabad, the better.